Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video I'm going to be giving you an update on some more transfer news. So Alex Telles to Manchester United is a done deal and an official announcement is imminent. Alex Telles has agreed personal terms with Manchester United and he's set to sign a 5-year contract with the football club worth around €4 million a year. But Fabrizio Romano has revealed that Man United are still in negotiations with Porto over a fee. Now, Porto have said that they want around £18 million for Alex Telles. It recently said they're up to their asking price to around £20 million. Now, like I said to you, it's very beneficial if Manchester United can sign Alex Telles because he is predominantly a left back and Manchester United are in search for a left back. We've got two left backs in the team at the moment, and that's obviously Luke Shaw. He's our first choice left back, and we've obviously got Brandon Williams. He's our backup left back. Another one of the main explanations why we're in for Alex Telles is because we missed out on Sergio Reguilon. Now, Alex Telles has got a release clause of £36 million. He's got under a year left on his current contract with Porto, so from a Porto perspective, they'd want to cash in for him now rather than letting go on a free next year. He has been at Porto for quite a few years. Before he was at Porto, he was at Inter Milan. He was out on loan with Inter Milan. Before that, he played for Galatasaray. When he was younger, he played for Grêmio and he also played for Juventude. And I think if Porto do sell him, they owe Galatasaray around 10% of the fee. Alex Telles is 27 years of age, so he is highly experienced. But Porto's boss, not so long ago, made an admission saying that Alex Telles could leave in the next fortnight. I think he said this the other week. Alex Telles said he's not distracted by the rumours linking him with a move to Manchester United, but he's already confirmed that he does want to leave Porto. Chelsea were obviously in for him at one point. Don't forget we tried to include Diego Dalot as part of the deal, didn't we? But obviously Porto had turned this down. But actually the player has urged Porto to lower their asking price because I think we've been trying to get him for around £12 million. So it's looking likely he's going to be our second signing in this summer transfer window. Now, let me delve into some news on Jaden Sancho. So Solsjaer is expecting Jaden Sancho's transfer to Manchester United completed. We are preparing to put a £90 million bid in. So I think we're going to offer around 65 million up front with the rest of it in add-ons. But these reports coming out saying that Manchester United will have to pay around £108 million for Sancho because Borussia Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million. And Borussia Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation. And throughout the course of this Jaden Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. Because we've not been determined to meet what they're demanding. You know, we want to pay from between 60 to 70 million pounds up front. Now, Sancho has already agreed the personal terms with Manchester United on a long-term contract. but we just now need to come to an agreement on a fee. David Ornstein from The Athletic recently mentioned this. He also mentioned that Manchester United are looking at alternatives to Sancho. We've been looking at Ivan Perisic, we've been looking at Ousmane Dembele, we've been looking at Douglas Costa, we've also been looking at Antoine Fati Vieira, because there's much cheaper solutions than Sancho. Now, don't forget, last month, Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. And we obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho decided to go out on pre-season. And at that point, Sancho's move to Manchester United looked dead in the water. It also mentioned around 3 or 4 weeks ago that we'd abandoned our chase for the player until next summer. But it's very imperative that we sign the player in this summer transfer window, because if we don't sign him in this summer transfer window, we may never sign him, because next year we will face competition for him, because maybe the likes of Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool, maybe even perhaps Chelsea could go in for him. And if he was to stay at Dortmund for this season, it would depend on how he performed this season, if his valuation went up even more than it already has done. Because don't forget, Dortmund only paid £8 million for Jaden Sancho from Man City back in 2017. And I think, Sancho's enjoyed, 3 good years with Dortmund. And he's still got a contract with them until 2022. But Fabrizio Romano, he's spoken about it a few times. And he still believes Sancho wants to come to Manchester United. But Sebastian Kehl, Borussia Dortmund's head of football, recently said that Sancho will be staying at Borussia Dortmund, so he won't be leaving in this summer transfer window. And he said that Man United have got no chance of getting him in a cut price deal. Lucien Favre, their boss, a few weeks ago said that Sancho is staying at Dortmund, and Michael Zorg, their sporting director, said around a good 4 weeks ago now that Sancho's staying at Dortmund and the decision is final. But we are not giving up on the signing of the player. I think we have been in for him for like the last 3 years. And he's our number one priority target. But Solsjaer's been very infuriated over the Jaden Sancho transfer saga, because like I mentioned, it has gone on for a while. But I've outlined the reasons why I want Manchester United to sign him, is because he would exceed expectations in the Premier League. He's also got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. He's predominantly a right winger, and he is still very, very young. And don't forget, he will be our next number 7. Because obviously we've got number 7 vacant at this moment in time. But we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Like I said, Dortmund have let quite a few of their big names go in recent years. They let the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang go. They let Christian Pulisic go. They let Ousmane Dembele go. Robert Lewandowski. Matt Hummels. Ilkay Gundogan. Mkhitaryan. Let Shinji Kagawa go at one point. But yeah, so it would be very, very good news from a Manchester United perspective if we could sign Sancho and Alex Telles this week. We will be spending over £100 million on both players. Because I've said to that Manchester United do need at least a couple of more signings if we are to mount any title challenge up this season. So far, we have only made one signing in this summer transfer window, and that was Donny van de Beek. And Donny van de Beek is a very, very good signing because he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Did well in our 1-0 defeat to Aston Villa in pre-season. Also did very, very well in the 3-1 loss to Palace. Came on and scored on his Premier League debut. Also did well in the Luton Town game and did well in the Brighton game recently, did Donny van de Beek. But Solsjaer said he wants to make around 3 more signings after Donny van de Beek. But Solsjaer has said a few times that he's been very infuriated with the board. The main explanation is over the lack of transfer business in this summer transfer window. But we've been very critical of, the board for several years. Like I mentioned to you already, these main explanations behind it. Obviously, Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. Also, to Matt Judge, maybe some of the blame stems from him with the failures over transfers. Because don't forget, Patrice Evra did a video recently, and he had obviously had a go at Woodward and the Glazers and Matt Judge, didn't he? And he says, we are in danger of blowing our legacy away and all of this. But up until this point, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been backed enough as Manchester United manager, and I think he does deserve more backing. Because Solskjaer's publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money in this summer transfer window. But hopefully, he will get the backing that he deserves this week. Because Woodward has said quite a few times that, he's determined to back Solskjaer. Also, the Glazers said a few times that they're determined to back Solskjaer. And like I've mentioned, we have missed out on a lot of our targets in this summer transfer window. We missed out on Sergio Reguilon. We missed out on Bale. He went back to Tottenham. We missed out on Jack Grealish because a few weeks ago he signed a 5-year deal with Aston Villa. We also missed out on Erling Haaland in January, and I said it was a shame we missed out on him because he would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. And we also missed out on Jude Bellingham. Another one of my element of concerns is that these teams around us that have been doing very, very good recruitment. Chelsea have made good signings, but they haven't been so good. Chelsea must have spent over £200 million in this summer transfer window. Liverpool, they've made some good signings. City have made a couple of signings. Arsenal have made a couple of signings. Everton have made some good signings. Tottenham, they've also made some good signings. Even Leeds United, they've also made some good signings. But if we can get Sancho and Alex Telles, that will be very, very good, like I mentioned. And that means we would have spent over £300 million under the Solskjaer era if we get them two players in. But as it stands at the moment, Solskjaer spent around £240 million at the club. Obviously, last summer we brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January, we bought Bruno Fernandes and Odin Ighalo in. Obviously, we brought Ighalo on loan. And we recently brought Donny van der Beek in. And Solskjaer's also brought a few academy players into the football club. And that's one thing I have liked about Solskjaer since he took over the reins at Old Trafford in December 2018. He's had a habit of developing young, homegrown talents. We don't only need to focus on the incomings though, we've also got to focus on the outgoings as well. Because departures have been proving very difficult lately. And I said the reason we need to sell players is because there is still deadwood at the football club. And we also need to generate money because it will help us with our rebuilding process. Now, yesterday I gave you the breaking news on Andries Pereira, didn't I? Sky in Italy said that Lazio are interested in Andries Pereira. Fabrizio Romano's revealed that Lazio are in talks with Man United regarding Andries Pereira. I think he's going to be going to Lazio on loan, and then they're going to have the option to buy Pereira for around £24 million. He did actually say at the first they'd be getting him for around €10 million. And I've said, Pereira needs to leave the club because he doesn't get in the team now anyway. Obviously hasn't played in any of our first 3 games. Surprisingly though, Pereira did make 40 appearances last season for Manchester United. I think he's made around 75 appearances in all competitions since his arrival at the club. Pereira has got a contract with us until 2023, and there's also an option of a further year. Pereira's been in our senior squad since 2014, but he has been at the club since 2011, so he has been with us around 9 years now. We actually got him from PSV Eindhoven. Don't forget as well, Pereira had loan spells with Granada and Valencia. So it's looking like he's going to be going. Jesse Lingard, he's another player that Manchester United are looking to offload. Lingard has been part of the club for several years. I think he's been at United since like 2000, and he's been in our senior squad since 2011. But I just think he's too inconsistent. Now, it recently said that Tottenham were in advanced talks with Man United to sign Jesse Lingard, and it mentioned that Tottenham were preparing to put around, was it a £30 million bidding for him? I haven't read up about the news regarding Lingard recently, but Jose Mourinho said he's keen on reuniting with the player. Lingard's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Don't forget there was a period where Lingard didn't score one goal in the Premier League or one assist for over a year. I think also too Zenit St. Petersburg have been interested in him. Chris Smalling, he's another player that Manchester United are looking to offload. Obviously, he's linked with a return to Roma. Chris Smalling was out on loan with Roma last season, and Solsjaer did reveal that he was in regular contact with Chris Smalling whilst he was out on loan with Roma. Solsjaer did say during our Europa League campaign that Smalling does still have a future at Manchester United, and he was asked recently, is he part of his first team plans for this season if he doesn't go to Roma? Now, I think we said want around 18 million for Smalling. Roma's first bid of £12 million had been turned down. Smalling's been part of the club for several years. You know, he's been at United for around 9 or 10 years now. Rojo, he's also another player we're looking to offload. Rojo's never established himself as a first team regular at Manchester United, has he? Let's be honest. We got Rojo in 2014 from Sporting Lisbon for around £16 million. He's had a few injuries as well as a Manchester United player. I think he's been with us a good 5.5 years now, something like that. Don't forget he was out on loan with Estudiantes last season. Rojo's contract expires with Man United next year. Diego Dalot, definitely got to offload him because I don't think he's good enough to represent Manchester United. He's our backup right back at the moment. You know, Dalot's been at the club a few years now. Obviously, we got him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid £19 million for him from Porto, Diego Dalot. And he's still got a contract of us until 2023. The likes of PSG and Barcelona have been in for him. Also, in recent weeks, Everton have been interested in him. And Sergio Romero, he's also open to leaving the football club, because Romero is now third choice goalkeeper because Dean Henderson recently returned. But Romero's not going to want to stay at Man United as third choice goalkeeper. You know, Romero's endured like 5 years at Manchester United. Got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015. You know, Romero has got, is it just under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. I think we'd probably get around £5 or £6 million for Romero, to be quite honest with you. You know the news on Daniel James. Sky Sports were reporting out yesterday that Daniel James wants to stay at Manchester United and he wants to fight for his place, despite Leeds United's interest, because Leeds have inquired about getting him permanently for around £12 million. And then there's other reports that are contrast saying that Leeds are keen on getting him on loan, with then probably the option or the obligation to buy at the end of the loan. Don't forget, back in January 2019, Leeds came very, very close to getting him. I think everything had been agreed. But Swansea had pulled out of the deal right at the final hurdle. Daniel James joined us in June last year. We got him in a deal worth £18 million. Daniel James, and he signed a 5-year deal with the club, I think with an option of a further year. But Daniel James is now finding game time quite hard. Towards the end of last season, he wasn't getting his opportunities. But for the vast majority of last season, from my own perception, I think Solsjaer did overplay him. So, yeah. But like I've said to this season is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season at Manchester United. And I said, this season is big for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he knows that he's got to exceed his expectations if he is, to remain Manchester United manager. And we've played 3 games so far this season. Like I mentioned, we lost 3-1 to Crystal Palace on the opening day of the season. That was a very bad defeat. It was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995, which is 25 years ago. And it was the second season in a row that we'd lost at Old Trafford to Crystal Palace in the Premier League. But then, we bounced back. We're 3-0 win against Luton in the Carabao Cup third round. Obviously, Solskjaer made a lot of changes in that game. And then we recently got our first league win against Brighton, beating them by 3-2. A lot of United fans will say we're lucky, and Solskjaer himself made the admission saying that Manchester United were very, very lucky. But all that matters is, we did get the win. So we have got to continue winning games because there has been a lot of Manchester United fans that have been critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I will make one admission, Solskjaer's definitely got to improve his decision making because in a lot of games, Solskjaer has been very tactically naive. And I'm not demanding Solskjaer out yet because like I've mentioned on my recent videos, we need to delve more into the season. For me to give you more of a perception on him. You know what I mean? If these bad performances are still to continue and we're not getting the results that we should be getting, then maybe, I will, criticise Solskjaer a lot. But don't forget the first part of last season, Man United were very, very critical of him because at the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Solskjaer was so close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager. And then all of a sudden, we rejuvenated ourselves. We was unbeaten in our last 14 league games before we lost that game against Crystal Palace. We did go on a 19-game unbeaten run until Chelsea had beaten us in the FA Cup semi-final and that. But if we did decide to sack Solskjaer, then who would be our next manager? Don't forget, before Solskjaer got the job permanently in March 2019, Pochettino was linked with a managerial role. There was talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming in at one point. Don't forget, before as well, Zinedine Zidane was linked with a managerial role at Manchester United. But like I've said, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. We're not known for the sacking football club, despite the fact that we've sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. And that was obviously Moyes. He got sacked after like 8 or 9 months. Obviously, Moyes should have never been recommended into the club and Ferguson was at the fault for recommending him in, but the main explanation Ferguson recommended him in is because he was both Scottish. Under Moyes' era, we actually finished 7th, so that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. Louis van Gaal got sacked after 2 years. We did win the FA Cup under the Louis van Gaal era, and Jose Mourinho, he got sacked after 2.5 years. Despite him winning the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. Also got a second in his first season. I think that's the highest we've finished since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. So Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era, and we haven't only had different managers with different philosophies. We've recruited a good 30 odd players in since the Ferguson era. And we spent close to the £1 billion range on them. And a lot of them players have not been the right calibre players for Manchester United. But yeah. But last season was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the football club, and to be fair, he did exceed most of his expectations. Like I've already mentioned, he got his qualification for the Champions League. We also finished third, and we did progress to 3 semi-finals. Solskjaer was saying prior to this season, from where he left off last season, he's got a lot of confidence going on into this season. But like I said, I think we are at least 3, 4, maybe even 5 years off from winning the Premier League title. There's quite a lot of Manchester United fans that don't think we're going to win the title under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. But we have not won the Premier League since 2013. So we haven't won it for 7 years. But we are the most successful team in Premier League history because obviously we won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles. But let's be honest, Solskjaer hasn't got that proven pedigree behind him, has he? Let's be honest, Man United is the third club in his managerial career. He has gained that managerial experience, reflecting how long he's been with us now, because he has been at the club almost 2 years. Before he was with us, he was at Molde, and before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. But, we've still got good players in our team, and, there's still a lot of players that I would keep at Manchester United. There really, really is. Keep Martial, he's done good. Keep Rashford, he's done good. Keep Fred McTominay, Matic, they've improved. Pogba, like I said, he will stay at Manchester United for at least another season. Maybe he will. Nothing's, I can't assure anything because I give you the news on Pogba yesterday and there's still uncertainty regarding Paul Pogba's future at Manchester United, and Danny Murphy thinks Paul Pogba is a defensive problem, and he gave the reason why Pogba and Fernandes cannot work out in our team. But I think we're in the process of trying to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club to end the uncertainty over his future. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. This is Pogba's 5th season at Man United since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016, and we paid £89 million for him, so as it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing. But he has had a long-running transfer saga. But his agent Mini Raiola come out, was it before the start of this season, saying that he wants to stay this summer, and he mentioned that Man United will hold talks over getting him a new contract. For the vast majority of last season, didn't have a perception on him because he was out with that ankle injury. I also think, the signings prior to Daniel James will stay at Man United as well. Because, like I said, Daniel James could still possibly leave the club. So I think Bissaka will stay. I think, obviously, Fernandes will stay. Obviously, Donny van der Beek will. Igalo, he'll stay until January 2021. De Gea, he will stay for another season. And I think he will remain our number 1 goalkeeper for this season. I think Dean Henderson will be our number 1 either next season or the season after. Luke Shaw, he will also stay. Luke Shaw's improved under Solskjaer. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. Mason Greenwood and Brandon Williams are obviously the foreseeable futures for Man United, and they've done very, very well under the Solskjaer era. Lindelof, he'll stay for at least another season, but he's got to improve as Victor Lindelof because he's been very inconsistent recently. Eric Bailly, I think he'll also stay for another season. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly is that he's injury prone. So same thing, with Luke Shaw, injury prone. Tuan Zebe, I think he'll also stay. Possibly Fossa Mensah will stay as well. Juan Mata, I think he'll also stay for another season at least. So yeah, there's a lot of players that Manchester United will still keep. There really, really is. But like I've said to you, I have taken positives from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tenure in that. I do like the signings he's made so far. I've also got to credit him because he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Manchester United. We've seen players like Lukaku leave, Sanchez, Herrera, Fellaini, Darmian, Valencia, Young. Angel Gomez. We loaned Tahith out to Werder Bremen. We loaned Dylan Levy out. I think we loaned James Garner out, didn't we? If I'm right, and we loaned Joe Pereira out again for another season. You can probably say we made a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku and Ander Herrera. And I also do like the way that Solsjaer has promoted the youth. But I'm hoping that this season that Manchester United can win a trophy, because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. You know, we've only won 3 trophies in the, or you can say 4 with the Community Shield included. We've won 4 trophies since Ferguson retired. Under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, we won 38 trophies, didn't we? Including 13 Premier League titles. And I think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United to replicate Ferguson's legacy or to last as long as Ferguson did. Because Ferguson endured 20 odd years at the football club, but didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United, did he, Alex Ferguson? But the success came under Ferguson. We've been inconsistent in the last 7 years. We was inconsistent before Ferguson ever got recommended in, because we weren't good under Ron Atkinson. We weren't good under Wolf McGuinness. You know, we weren't good under the likes of Franco Farrell. We got relegated under Franco Farrell in 1974, didn't we? By the way, there'll be more videos coming up later on. The Brighton preview for the Carabao Cup will either be coming up tonight or it will be tomorrow. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes, below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.